So you've come into my dwelling looking for answers. I won't charge you a price because I haven't charged anyone a price for the past 1,000 years, so it wouldn't be fair to charge you a price. But then again, what is fairness? Just kidding. The philosophers ask questions, but the sage answers them. That's the whole point. And my watch is broken because time is an illusion that the philosophers keep trying to reason within their own minds, but in all honesty, how can you not reason time in your own mind when reality is not only your mind's construct, but also time is, in a sense, what measures reality? So, like, you created the measurement for your own reality, which you also created. Everything is within your own fabrication, yet you want to confuse yourself by making it as if it's something as a natural law. Anyways, let me put my little clock back. What is this picture? Just kidding, I don't ask questions, I just answer them. This is a picture of a woman with an older woman. Right here. Can you see them? Right there. There's the older woman. I think the older woman has flowers. Yeah. The older woman has a little basket of flowers. And then the younger woman has a little pretty pink blanket over her lap, and she's attending to the older woman right there. However, this has to have some sort of religious imagery to it. Maybe Noemi and Ruth, or Naomi and Ruth. I do believe that could be what it is depicting, but then again, that could be just a long shot. I am the sage and I know the answers, but at the same time I have to know all of the possible answers, and honing into just one is a difficult task. That's when you have to go to a sage's sage. Anyways, let me just put this back. May I ask for your inquiry? What exactly is it that you want me to answer for you? That is a very simple question. So, to answer your very simple question, I'm going to be looking into my books to try and find an answer for your question. So, let's look into my books. I have an assortment of books. In fact, I have a world of books. So I've only conjured up 10 books in order to see if I can find an answer in there. So let's see. Let me start from the bottom and then we'll go to the top. As a wise man once said, his name was Drocket. Let me see. Oh, these are beautiful illustrations. Gorgeous illustrations. I'll show you the illustrations just so you know how gorgeous they are. Your eyes are going to be so privileged. Let's look into this book. Let's read the back first just to see just to get a feel for it. The Possessed. Dostoevsky's great political philosophical novel has been called a prophetic vision of the Russian Revolution. Based on a sensational murder case in 1869 in which a radical political group had ordered the execution of one of its former members, The Possessed was Dostoevsky's answer to the socialistic and nihilistic tendencies of his day. I hope his answer was in the affirmative, because nihilism, a good dose of nihilism is always good. Nihilistic tendencies of his day. For years of imprisonment had turned him from insurgents to orthodoxy. I don't think we're going to find an answer to your question in this book. And throughout this monumental novel there is the expression of a strong nationalistic faith in the messianic role of Russian people and a conviction that Christian love will solve the problems of mankind. The Possessed demonstrates the magnificent force of Dostoevsky's art in a skillful fusion of ideology with profound characterization and violent action. Yeah, we're probably not going to spend all that much time looking for an answer in this book. Stavrogin's Confession. When was this book published? I mean, the crime happened in 1869. But I wonder what date this was published. First printing, 1961. I don't think that's when this was written. I'm under the impression that Dostoevsky is far older than just 1960. I think by then he was dead. Yeah, he was most certainly dead by that time. I am the sage. I know all of the answers. Don't question me. Now, if you don't mind, I'm just going to find an answer in this book. Permit me one moment. The end of the fete, the end of the party, a romance ended, the last resolution, a wanderer, a bum's night, I think that's what I saw. Stepan, dear God, the poor Russians, their last names are sneezes. Trofimach's last wandering, conclusion, at Tikhon's. What the end of the fete again. The fete first part. Filibusters, a fatal morning. A raid at Stepan Ivan the what was that? Ivan the Tsarevich. Peter Stepanovich is busy on the eve of the fete, all in expectation. Night, a subtle serpent. Why are serpents always characterized as being sneaky just because they slither around? I feel like mosquitoes are sneakier, and yet no one ever characterizes them as any diabolical entity. The cripple. The sins of others. Prince Harry, matchmaking. And introductory. I'm sorry, but we didn't find an answer to your inquiry in this book. I dearly apologize for having wasted your time, but once again, is not time a man-made construct? Let's move on to the next book. Homer the Odyssey. Let me just push in my little bookmark. That way you don't know what page I was on and how very versed I am in this book. The greatest tale of all time. That is quite a thing to call yourself. I think this book is going to be filled with humility. Let's see. The marketplace of Ithaca. What happened in Sally Palos? What happened in Lacedaemon? The Palace of Alcone. I'm going too fast. Sports in Phaeacia, the Lotus Eaters, and the Cyclops. Island of the Winds. The Kingdom of the Dead. We might find an answer in this work. Kingdom of the Dead. No. Scylla and Charybdis. Odysseus and the swineherd back to Ithaca. What is an Ithaca? Just kidding, I know what an Ithaca is. I'm a sage. How Telemachus met his father Telemachus. How Odysseus returned home. How Odysseus fought the beggar. Well, that's kind of a really prick move on Odysseus' part. Who fights the beggar? How the nurse knew her master. That's sexist. How God sent omens. Isn't God supposed to be mysterious? Like, why is he giving you a step-by-step? The contest with a great bow. It's an inanimate object. How can you have a contest with it? Battle in the hall. You mean, like, school? Odysseus finds his wife again. That's sad. Who loses his wife? Physically. Odysseus and his old father. Sorry, but no. There were no answers in this book either. So I'm afraid we're gonna have to go to the next book. Oh. I'm so sorry, but I think I might have... Oh, this is unfortunate. I picked out the wrong book. Oh wait, look at me. Look at the picture. it? Oh, no. It's so pretty. Wait, found it. Yeah, this picture's pretty. Look at how pretty this picture is. This is probably the prettiest picture. Well, it's not the prettiest picture I've seen, but it's still very beautiful. I like the intricacy of it. It's very fanciful. And then you have inscriptions. And then you have little trees circling around an arch, a crown with a couple of stars around it, and then more inscriptions down below. Let's see if I can. Of all the languages I can speak, this just happens to not be one of them, so I'm sorry. Let's see. Was that another little illustration that I just passed by again? Yes, but it's not an illustration. Some runes for you, but I still can't find an answer in them. Now, I think this might have the same problem with this book. There are so many passages missing from these books that you can really only find in Game of Thrones. Tragic. The window on the west. The forbidden pool. Journey to the crossroads. The stars of Cirith Ungol. And the stairs of Cirith Ungol. And the riders of... oh, rowing. I thought I was going to say riders on the storm. Never mind. But I like the illustration right here. The illustration is quite beautiful. Very gorgeous, in fact. Oh, if I could have this illustration hanging on my wall, I would definitely do so. Unfortunately, I don't. I just have my walls lined with bookcases to hold all of the literature I've accumulated through my time on Earth. How long have I been living for? I don't know. Let me just put this to the side. Ben-Hur. Ben-Hur is a remarkable saga of betrayal, revenge, and redemption, played out in the blood-stained arenas of ancient Rome. Framed for attempting to murder a Roman official, Ben-Hur is robbed of his freedom, family, and fortune. Condemned to death as a galley slave, he lives only to avenge himself against the Roman tribune Messala, the boyhood friend who betrayed him. Epic in scope, Ben-Hur vividly recreates the sweep of imperial Rome, from a thrilling sea battle to the famous chariot race, to the agony of the crucifixion. It is the moving personal tale of a prince who became a slave and then, through a unique twist of fate, was able to fight his way back to the free world as a champion gladiator. Written by the territorial governor of New Mexico, Ben-Hur was an immediate bestseller upon its release in 1880, selling more than 2 million copies, and it continues to be an enduring classic. Let's just see what is going on with this book. Illustration looks very modern, but I don't quite enjoy modern illustrations. There is no information in this book that can help you with your concern, and their chapters weren't even titled, unfortunately. So I'm going to have to say that this book will also not be helping you, and I have to put it to the side. So there we go, and then pulling up the next book. I highly doubt this book will help you either. And I highly doubt this book will help you either. highly doubt will help you either. And this book, I highly doubt, will help you either. Let me just flip through it though. Raise high the roof beam, carpenters. Say more in introduction. This is the last book that I chose from my library. So hopefully the answer will be in here. Otherwise, I only have one last resort. So, the aim of this book is to stress the importance of Aristotle's discussion of problems that still perplex and preoccupy philosophers of the present day. For this book, I have chosen a selection from the texts of Aristotle that relate most directly to philosophical questions still being debated today. Metaphysics, logic, physics, psychology, ethics, politics, poetics. It's funny how they put ethics behind politics. Over 2,000 years ago, Aristotle's investigation into these fields established unique standards of philosophical inquiry, observation, judgment. This book offers a new selection and a new translation, along with a contemporary reevaluation of philosophy, the master of Western thought, and shows his vital continuing influence in our modern world. Let's see. The philosophy of Aristotle. What is the nature of knowledge, and are its ultimate grounds? What are its ultimate grounds? The nature of knowledge is within the brain. How is the mind related to the body? It's inside of it. What is the function and purpose of literature? To read and to be read. How is pleasure related to goodness? It feels good. To what end or ends is human life to be directed? Until death. What is the place of the individual in human society? In a grave. What are the ultimate categories of thought and the basic constituents of the universe? What are the ultimate categories of thought and the basic constituents of the universe? Well, they're definitely not related to one another, because why are you amplifying the importance of human thought to that of the universe? Questions posed by Aristotle some 2,000 years ago still remain valid in our world today, and his answers to them are still to be ranked among the most pertinent in the field. Are you sure about that, though? Let's see. Metaphysics, logic, on interpretation, posterior analytics, physics, poetics and reading. Let's see. If we can find an answer to your inquiry in here. The book closed on its own. Let me go to my backup plan. It's kind of like an oracle, but not really. I'm just going to gather some pearls from this little box I have here. This wooden box, this mysterious special box. And I'm going to place it into the oracle, and that should answer your question. Yeah, it should. And if it doesn't, then the answer to your question is undefined. Yep. undefined questions in the universe. Now, I'd appreciate it if you thought of your question as I rolled these pearls in my hands. And then as you think very, very hard about your question, very, very hard, like have it only on your mind, have only that on your mind. Think of nothing else but that question. Just think of that question, have it present, have no external sounds or feelings or thoughts or anything else get in the way of you thinking that question. Think of it very hard. And as you think of that question, I will continue rolling these pearls. So that way, when I put them in the vase, they should reveal the answer to your question. Okay? Have you thought of your question? Have you been thinking about your question? Do you have your question very set in your mind? Excellent. So now I'm just going to be taking this glass very, very weird. And so does my nose and my face. Before plastic surgery, after plastic surgery. There we go. So now that you've thought about your question for long enough, you should be able to be revealed about this. Your answer should be revealed in the pearls. Do you see your answer in the pearls? It should be written on the pearls themselves. If they're blank, that means your answer is undefined. They're blank. Yeah. Your answer is undefined. So now that you know the answer to your question, you may go off now fully satisfied.